Hey guys, the challenge with making a documentary of any length is figuring out what to cut and what to keep as you weave your story together. And with Madness 3, I cut way too much. And with so many great original interviews with people like Weir, Fabian, Calvo, the Doc, Daniel Ameduri, and Chris Duane, I wanted to share all the great things they said. So I put together Madness 3, Addendum. I hope you enjoy it. And as always, thanks for watching.
The current banking financial system we have today is a complete Ponzi. It's unsustainable. It is entirely kicking the can a little bit further down the road with quantitative easing and essentially counterfeiting of fiat currency.
This is simply a mode of theft. You print money, and of course the bankers have access to the spigot from the Federal Reserve itself, so they get everything fresh off of the printing press. Meanwhile, the bills that are already sitting in the wallets of ordinary people are being relentlessly diluted by this money printing.
In 1971, when we went off the gold standard, the Treasury Secretary, John Connolly, said that the dollar may be our currency, but it's your problem. And that's the guts of it. The United States is printing money hand over fist.
So they get an endless supply of fresh bills in their own vaults, and we get currency that's being relentlessly driven to zero by this fractional reserve banking. Fractional reserve banking is inherently a Ponzi scheme.
Everybody knows there's no way we can pay it off. It always ends in default.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that America is headed towards the most difficult times she's ever experienced. We don't know how bad a collapse will be because no one has ever experienced it. No countries have experienced the size of the collapse of this economy.
When the day the dollar dies happens, it will change everyone's life forever. Our new normal isn't going to be anything like the current normal. It's going to be a radically different time in the United States. As Gerald Celente has said, we will be the first post-industrialized nation.
There's a huge lie being told to the American people and the people of the world that things are fine.
And how people could keep buying into this, you know, it really says a lot about the ethics and the composition of the human spirit.
What if things aren't okay? What if the banks don't open that next day and you go online to get your account balance and the bank is closed? You go to the ATM and the bank is closed. You go to buy some gas and they don't accept credit cards or there's no power or electricity.
The criminality of the bankers is epic levels. People that literally collapsed the economy by design are now, via the inflation tax, borrowing money at 0% interest rates to go back and buy all the distressed assets that they laid siege to. It is the destruction of the capitalist economy and of the free market by crony, fascistic thieves. And all of us are having to deal with the ramifications of that.
We cannot continue to create so much debt, spread so much debt throughout the world. And at some point it's going to come to an end. And it's going to come to an end with whether people want to or are prepared or not. So you're either going to deal with the problem going head on to it, or you're going to be a victim of it.
Every fiat currency throughout history has failed. We're reaching the end point, and it won't be long until we'll see a collapse of the current fiat system as well.
It's been enabled by this massive malinvestment from this paper debt paradigm, and it's going to come to an end, and people are going to be left holding nothing. You know, I wouldn't want to be any American overseas anywhere when that dollar collapses, because it's going to show the true nature of what people really feel about us.
The definition of terrorism in your country has been redefined to people who are critical of the government and people who are interested in your Declaration of Independence, your Bill of Rights, anybody who talks about the Constitution. That isn't the America I grew up knowing and respecting.
If you look at Social Security today and Medicare and other entitlements, these programs take up the entire federal revenue. All tax revenues don't even pay for these three entitlements.
You know, the eminent John Williams from shadowstats.com, who's been telling us going back nearly a decade now that hyperinflationary depression is imminent for the U.S. And going back just to 2010, he's been saying that it could be coming within the next 12 months at basically any time.
If we measured inflation today the same way it was measured back in 1980, our current inflation rate would be around 10%. I mean, you could be talking about a Weimar styled hyperinflation.
This thin veil of confidence that the world runs by can be shattered instantly. Are you confident that the markets are going to be open tomorrow? Are you confident that you're going to be able to go to the store and buy food and they will accept whatever form of payment that you make? What if the value of the dollar is destroyed overnight? What are you going to do? Do you have a plan? That's what you got to be thinking.
If you look at Social Security, Medicare, and other entitlements, it takes up all tax revenues. Even if you eliminated the military, you paid off the national debt, you still could not balance your budget just trying to pay for the entitlements.
The biggest risk to our current financial paradigm is the derivative system.
So when there's a problem in the derivative market, you're going to see a problem with every single bank in every single nation. The dollar, bonds, loans, sovereign debt, you name it, derivatives are attached to it.
When the derivatives system starts to fail, really within minutes to hours, it will trigger a domino-like reaction among the entire financial system.
This will be the government on trial when this currency collapses. So no one's going to be looking for help more than the government.
We've been presented with this absurd myth that we live in some sort of nanny state where everybody is actually taken care of by our wonderful patriarchal government, and nothing could be further from the truth. We're on our own because government is not going to be there.
Humanity's going to, learn the hard way of what to value in life, and more importantly, what people we should be valuing in life. Instead of New Yorkers embracing, the next basketball team or hockey team or Wall Street brokers and all this other, people who don't provide any real tangible value to humanity, they should be valuing and supporting and investing their time and effort in people who actually make this world work.
If people would just stand around and do nothing and buy into this illusion of recovery, they're eventually going to be the casualty of this economic implosion engineered by these banking cartels, these sinister banking cartels.
From what we think is coming, the prices of gold and silver are just going to go way, way, way up. And if you own it, you're going to feel a lot safer and more secure than people that don't.
The reason that gold and silver are our insurance from this act of serial theft is because the bankers can't dilute a piece of gold or a piece of silver sitting in our own home safe or safety deposit box in the manner that they can relentlessly dilute the money in our wallets. And this is what the scam is all about. Try to frighten us away from real wealth, from a real store of value, which is what gold and silver bullion is, and trick people into holding their paper, because the more paper they hold, the more you can steal from them.
I would say that if you're a father, if you have a family, if you have small children, don't even take our word for it. Please just start the journey of doing your own research into informing yourself about the criminality of the Federal Reserve, the big banks, and what it means specifically to your life.
If you're not prepared for what's coming, you might not be the person dumpster diving for a few days and then the electricity goes back on. You might be the person desperately looking for something, desperately looking for food to feed your children. This is serious business that we need to prepare for.
If you aren't prepared today, go out and prepare, because there are so many things that could hit that could put us in that place where we don't have access to food, we don't have access to water, we don't have open markets, things like that. You got to be ready for it.
So, this is not a warning to be taken lightly, and like I say, the best way to protect yourself from what we know is coming ahead is to swap paper for gold and silver bullion. Do it now before it's too late.